And mute. All right, guys, good evening to you and good morning to me. So happy to have you guys as part of this call. This is my brain. I got to just let you guys know, I don't know if glare. Let me see if this helps a little bit. Yeah, I think I'll turn. Yeah, my brain is going crazy these days. A lot of exciting things are happening, and we're just excited for you to be here today. And today we're going to talk a little bit about some different social classes, and I apologize. I'm going to apologize in advance. Because I have a feeling that one or two people might get, I'm sorry, I don't want to say offended, because nobody needs to get offended. But I have a feeling that there's some people who might see themselves in some of what I'm talking about today. And it's really just going to be somewhat of a prelude to one of the books that we're going to read when we get to get to it in a book club. But it's a book I was reading on my flight, and I don't know why through the night, I guess my spirit was in a certain place, because some people were asking me some real poignant questions about their future, their financial situation, and just giving some guidance and some counsel. But I want to really talk a little bit about how millionaires think, okay, and how the middle class. And I don't want to exclude, but I must acknowledge this other category, which is the poor. Because these categories, these social classes, as I think we all know them, these social classes exist, okay? And as much as we might want to debate or argue, I know I see it each and every day. Just last night, I was having dinner, and I was in I guess it would be considered a very touristy area of Hanoi, Vietnam. And, it still blows my mind, because I know there's poverty everywhere in the world. But as I was having this outdoor meal, the number of individuals that were of lesser financial capabilities would come by and offer whatever it is they had for sale. And one old lady was actually selling wet naps and chewing gum, okay, in her basket. Okay, that's her business. She's selling wet naps and chewing gum. Okay, I looked in her basket, and that's what she was selling. Okay, I didn't ask her how much, because I wasn't interested in buying either. But when I look and understand that, from a social standpoint, there are 5 very distinct categories, and today I'm going to need you guys to really interface and interact with me. Okay, you may not want to show your face, and I may not show the gallery, or it depends, but I need you to interact with me, because if you understand where I'm going and what I'm really talking about, you will realize that your ability to rise beyond your current circumstances has everything to do with a mindset. Now, why I talk about it this way, because it has to do with how you think. And sometimes we allow our thinking to really be gauged, guided, predicated, dictated, and often demonstrated by those who are around us, meaning that we are in preparation for what those around us might ask and or want and or need and or require in their own minds, in order for us to move forward in some situation. And I'm absolutely determined, because in the 35 years of being in this industry, of network marketing, multi-level marketing, relationship marketing, call it whatever you want to call it. I call it the greatest industry in the world. What I have seen is that there are times when my demeanor has been on one side of the pendulum, and then I've also been on the other side of the pendulum. And what am I talking about? That means that when I'm on one side of the pendulum, which means I'm catering to the needs and or the ideals and or the demands or the requirements of quote unquote prospects, that there's a degree of success that'll come. But when I move it and shift it to where I know it should be, and let's just call it where it should be, the millionaire mindset, the visionary perspective, the insight into what's about to happen, I tend to see greater success. And with that greater success that I see comes a greater degree of excitement. Okay, I didn't want to say happiness, because the excitement will fuel a degree of happiness. See, the excitement will fuel. Come on, somebody. Is anybody with me here? Okay, I see some folks chiming in, but maybe you're watching the Masters, or maybe the Masters is over. You know, it's at a different time zone here, so I can't tell if the Masters over in Augusta are still being played, and if you guys are watching it. But the reality of it is, it's the excitement that will fuel the happiness that you feel that comes from your business. Does anyone see where I'm talking about? But let's go. Okay, while you marinate on that one for a second, let's talk about the social classes. And I really didn't have a very defined direction as to where I wanted to go with this discussion today, but we're here, okay? We are right here. And since we're here, let's go ahead and break it down. These 5 very distinct social groups, social categories, and the first of which, and let's start, if you don't mind, we'll go not in descending order, but we'll go in ascending order, starting with those that I am sure are not on this call. Is that okay? Can somebody just give me an acknowledgement? Let's make sure. Let's see if your fingers are working. You go ahead and acknowledge that for me. I'm going to assume that the very first category, which would be the very poor. Okay. See, we're talking about the mindsets. Okay. And there are distinctions between the mindsets of the very poor. And the second category, the second social group, would be the poor. So I'm going to make the assumption, please, if I may, if I'm not, maybe I need to just go back and assess who's actually in this particular conference tonight. But let's talk about the poor, the very poor, then the poor. Let's say we're not here. Then you have the third category, which is the middle class. Then you have the rich. And last but not least, you have the very rich. You see, all of this really just got started because last night I was sitting in a location, which is a very upscale location, which is where I choose to spend my time. It was the lobby of one of the 5-star hotels here. Now, I'm actually not staying there, but I spend my time there and I do my meetings there. Not staying there because on the short notice that I flew here to meet with these folks, there was no, how do they say around Christmas time, no room in the inn. There was there's no room. So I could not get to stay here in there, I should say, but I was able to spend my time there. And as I'm sitting there, one of the gentlemen that I'm sitting with, he and I are talking about his 40 years of living in Dubai. Now, has anyone ever heard of Dubai? Let me just make sure. I think I think the way things are going, I think I might be muted tonight. My computer may be muted because I'm not getting any interaction from. Well, maybe only Rosalind and Elaine. But do you know what it's like to sit in a 5-star hotel with a individual that literally told me that when he went to visit New York, he spent 3 days there and couldn't stand it because it was so different than his experience and his life and his lifestyle living for 40 years in Dubai. And we began to talk a lot about Dubai. And here was the interesting thing. By the time we were done with our 2-hour discussion, meeting, conversation. He had painted a vivid enough picture, okay, a vivid enough picture of Dubai that I had already begun telling him that if he'll invite me, and I actually said it, it came out. I said, if you invite me to come to Dubai, I will be there. Pulled out my passport, showed him all the stamps of all the different places that I go to, because I only go places where I'm invited. And I said, Dubai is not on there. Dubai has not been stamped in this particular passport. Okay. I said, but if you invite me, I will come. You see, I want someone to take a note. And Janie, I'm so glad to have you there from Nigeria. So glad to have you with me this morning. I know it's wee hours in the morning over there, but I want you. I want you to write something down for me, Janie, because most of us, as amateurs or neophytes, beginners, intermediaries in intermediates, I should say, in network marketing, we often fail to realize how we draw people into where it is we're going, because we often forget to, or maybe we don't know to, paint a vision. But let's go back. We have 5 categories, right? Remember, the very poor, the middle class, the rich, and the very rich. And what's interesting, ladies and gentlemen, is the fact that each of them think differently, okay? There's a different thought process that is assigned. No. I want to be very careful how I say this. It's assigned to each category. What I'm saying to you is that it's by choice. It's relegated. That means someone has been given that mindset. They have been assigned that mindset. That mindset might not have been given, might not have been developed by them at their own free will, but it may have been assigned. What do I mean assigned? By virtue of their parents, by virtue of their community, by virtue of their ethnicity. They may have been assigned a certain mindset, but I can tell you for sure that just because you have a mindset that has been assigned doesn't mean that that's where you have to end up. You see, if you're listening to anyone, and I don't know how many people listen to my recordings, but I listen to recordings of people who have gone from the ghetto to mansions, and from the outhouse to the White House, if you want to call it that. But see, what it says is that you are not by any means relegated to the circumstances that you start with. That means that just cause you started there. Let me tell you about this young man, and the reality is, I probably, and I'm going to look on the list of who's in attendance, but I might be the person who was born the poorest in this group today. And the reason I tell you this, because see, I understand. I don't think we were very poor, but we were poor. Okay, can anyone hear me now? Can anyone hear me? I wasn't very poor as we grew up, because here was the interesting thing. You can probably distinguish between the poor and the very poor, because the poor might be without, but they may be of a higher standard. They may have the ability to clean their clothes. They may have the ability to how do I say it? I'm trying to find a proper way to say it. They may do some of the cosmetic requirements of looking and cleaning. How do I know what I'm talking about? Because I see homeless people in my travels everywhere I go. I see people without homes. That would be very poor. Would anyone agree with me? Would that be a constituting condition to determine someone is very poor when they have nowhere to live and they are living on the street wearing the same clothes day in and day out? Would that constitute very poor? Yes or yes? I'll pause while some of you think about that one. So I was not that. I was not very poor, but I will tell you, we were poor. And I didn't know we were poor. Here's the irony. I did not realize we were poor. Why? Because I was assigned that mindset. Okay, guys, you're making this way too difficult for me today, and I don't need anyone. I don't need to unmute anyone, but there are some of you who I know understand what I'm talking about. But for whatever reason, you just won't work with me today. And I need you to work with me because I need to make sure you understand where we're going. Because at the very end of this, there's going to be someone, at least one person, it doesn't matter how many total are in this call, but there should be at least one person who gets what I'm talking about and makes the decision to reassign their mindset so that they can go from being middle class, because we've already agreed that there are no poor or very poor on this call, but there may be some that are middle class that will go from middle class to rich and maybe even to very rich. Now, I don't know if anyone wants that, because maybe I'm just talking to some people that are in middle class, but they desire to be poor. Maybe you want to walk amongst those who have very little. I don't know. But I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to those who are looking to go from middle class to rich, and from rich, maybe even, if you can handle it, because very often the reason that you don't move from rich to very rich is because mentally you can't handle it. The pressure. And I heard a young man speak about this very recently. He talked about he knows why he struggled from going from being poor, very poor. His first memories of himself was in a shelter, a women's shelter, where he was a battered women's shelter, where he, by the age of 8 years old, was already experimenting with drugs because of the environment for which he was assigned. But he also mentioned that he understood who his friends were and who his foes were, and didn't mean it about the people he was standing next to on a daily basis. He was talking about the friend in his mind versus the foe in his mind. He was talking about the ally versus the enemy. Can anyone see what I'm pointing to? The ally versus the enemy. And oftentimes the struggle is not external, but it's internal as to your determination or ability to elevate. So I'm not talking to anyone who's just trying to be status quo. I'm talking to someone who's saying, wait a doggone minute, I have been where I've been, but I desire to elevate beyond my conditions. I will tell you further the struggles. Yes, we were poor. Yes, we were poor, but we were clean. Daggone it, we were clean. My mother made sure that I had clean clothes. My mother made sure that we were properly groomed. I didn't even realize we were poor because we had food. I didn't realize that the food that we were eating constituted of mainly starches with very little protein, because the protein was the most expensive and we had to share that out amongst many people. But just in our one room, let me say it one more time, one room house, there were 4 of us living in the one room house. Now understand that in the one room house, there was just one bed. That means 4 people, 2 adults and 2 children sleeping in one bed. That would constitute poor. But I didn't know we were poor. It wasn't until we moved from that country of Trinidad and Tobago and came to America that I realized something had changed. Something had changed because I was no longer living in a one-room house. I was living in a, let me see if I can count it, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5-room house, apartment, okay? It was a railroad apartment style where you walk in the front, you walk through all the rooms. Matter of fact, I could be sleeping, but somebody has to get to the kitchen, they're walking through. Somebody has to go to the bathroom, they're walking through. Does anyone know what I'm talking about? Those type of houses. But guess what? Because I knew something had changed was because I was sleeping in a bed all by myself. The least of my concerns was that someone was walking through the room. The least of my concerns was that someone had to get up and walk through and maybe make some noise or clang or bang or whatever as they went through my bedroom, because I had my own bed. You see, but we weren't done, because the ascension, ladies and gentlemen, was to move from their poor up to middle class. And ladies and gentlemen, there was another degree back then of middle class. You see, because things are changing. Yeah, 2017, things are changing. Back then, there were multiple levels of middle class, and we went from actually the low middle class to the middle and the upper middle class, and that was a good thing. Ended up having my own room in next home. We lived in that that railroad flat apartment dwelling for a few years, and then moved into a house. That I won't even count the rooms, but there were 4 bedrooms in that house, and one of them was mine. I was ecstatic. I thought I had died and gone to heaven. I thought that this was it. I had reached the pinnacle of my existence. Ladies and gentlemen, but we're talking about the middle class, and I didn't understand anything about the rich and the very rich. Why? Because I had not been assigned. Is there anyone here who is ready to acknowledge the assignment? You see, I'm trying to tell you that the assignment that I was born with is not the assignment that I chose to live with, and the assignment I chose to pass on to my children. You see, my children, in my mind, were going to be assigned a whole new mindset. My children were going to be given something that was absolutely, I mean, without a doubt, without a question, it was about something different, even better. So my children wouldn't understand some of the things that I've had to go through, some of the things that I've had to deal with. My children don't understand that because they've never walked in those shoes. Oh, absolutely. They are not, by any means, they are not spoiled brats. Yes, I just talked about the fact that my daughter, who will be 18 in less than 2 months, just over 2 months, should be 18 in 2 months, went on her first spring break by herself, sending home pictures of her and her friends on the beach. Why? Because that's the norm. That's what we've conditioned. That's the picture we've painted. You see, the difference between your poor and you're very poor and you're poor and you're middle class and you're rich and you're very rich is the ability to create a mindset. And Janie, what I'm trying to get you to write down is the fact that your success, not yours, but everyone's success, your success in network marketing has to do with the mindset you establish and then how you paint the picture. You see, I'm looking at this book here and it says it. It said the key to moving beyond the middle class and up the economic ladder is mastering the vital principles. And I want to just touch on just 3 of the 10 that they mentioned here. And I hope I get to touch on it before my time runs out. But the number one, and this is what really got me up this morning and got me fired up and got me excited, because I'm praying for, not for me, okay, not for me, because today I'm going to do something kind of crazy. I'm going to do something kind of stupid today because some of y'all just don't know, okay, because it was a mindset. It was a mindset. Some of y'all been where I'm about to show you, but it was the mindset that said that they master these vital principles. And number one principle is that millionaires think long term while middle class think short term. You must create a clear vision of life, of the life you desire, and focus in on it. And I'm going to stop right there. I'm going to stop right there only because, you know, that part, we could stay there for a long time. Now, I don't know if I need to change. See, because I need somebody to tell the person who's looking at me in the screen that your face ain't telling me you're excited to hear what I'm telling you. I need you to kind of look at the screen and say, wait a minute. Though you may not be talking about me, I can relate to what you're talking about, because when I get my breakthrough, I want to have a whole new demeanor. You see, I did a test yesterday, and just for, what do they call them? Shucks and giggles. Shucks and giggles. I sent a series of images to a select individual who doesn't speak any English, I know has never traveled outside of Vietnam, but yet they see enough on TV and on videos and on movies. And I sent a series of images just to see what would happen, okay? But let me get back to that point, because what I want to tell you is that the reason I want you to get a little bit excited is because when you think of these 5 social classes, the primary goal, okay? The primary goal, I don't know. Maybe I need to just shift this gallery. I ain't going to tell y'all which one of y'all I'm looking at that don't have me excited. There you go. I got somebody. Thank you so much. There she goes. That's the face I wanted to see. That smiling face that lets me know that, yes, 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 you get it, okay? But I'll leave it here for a second as I tell you this, because I don't want you to get offended as I say this. But the primary goal for the very poor and the poor is survival. I feel like I'm about to go to church in a second. Lord have mercy. It's not even Sunday over here no more. I'm talking about food on the table, roof overhead, some clothes on your back, the basic of survival. That's the primary goal of the poor and the very poor. Now, but hold on now. Hold on. Where are you, Elaine? I don't see you. I'm hearing from you, but I don't see you. The primary goal for the middle class, ladies and gentlemen, is comfort. Oh, I feel good. I'm comfortable. I'm in my nice little car. My car cost me about $20,000, $30,000. I got a comfortable car payment. Hold on now. Hold on. My car payment is just comfortable. It don't stress me too much. It still leaves me a couple of coins at the end of the month, but I'm comfortable. The primary goal, oh, you didn't have to tell everybody your hair not dead, okay? Because I wouldn't have put you out there, okay? It's okay. Go ahead and put a baseball cap on. Hold on. Let me show you how you do this, okay? Elaine, let me show you how you do this. I'm so sorry to digress, but Elaine started it. If you're going to just put yourself a cap on, okay? Put yourself a cap on. But make sure the cap says what you want it to say. Make sure the cap sends a message to those who are... Don't get me started now, okay? You see, you got to be deliberate with all things and intentional with all things that you do. If your hair not did, put a cap on, but make sure it tells the world that I'm not just surviving for comfort. I'm not going for survival, and I'm not just moving for comfort. But let me keep on going, because man, oh man, I didn't know this was going to get me excited like this. All right. Let me calm down. Let me go back to that other view. Let me go back to that other view so I could get depressed again. Where was I? So the primary goal of the middle class is comfort. Yes, comfort. I'm comfortable. I'm in my comfortable little car with my comfortable little clothes. I'm comfortable. It's comfortable. I look just like my neighbor next door. We all have the same economy car that's comfortable. My payment is comfortable. My neighborhood is comfortable. My bills are comfortable. My life is comfortable. My vacation is comfortable. Is everybody comfortable yet? Are we comfy, cozy yet? Comfortable. You see, you can't be sitting there thinking about comfortable, because I'm going to tell you this. You see, because there's always a struggle in the mind. So mind you, I'm sitting there talking to this man who's lived for 40 years in Dubai. And I'm saying to myself, Lord have mercy, I'd love to book a trip for me and a bunch of my friends to come visit Dubai, because I know I can go. You see, wait a minute, I know I could go. But I'm saying to myself, well, if I invite a few of my friends to come, it might, I was going to ask him, but I chose not to. Okay. I chose not to, because I was going to ask him. Is there a package for the middle class? Is there? I couldn't listen. They would have laughed me out of that room. They'd have laughed me out of that whole 5-star environment if I'd have looked at that man who lives in Dubai for 40 years and I'd have said to him, if I come with some friends, is there an economy program that we can work out? Is there a payment plan we can establish? Is there a way we can make it comfortable? I'm so sorry. People next door are going to get upset. I don't know what I'm doing here. Why'd I lose my mind, Janie? Janie, how'd I lose my mind? What done happened to this boy this morning? Let me go to the next and the most important of the primary goals, which is for the rich and for the very rich. Is anybody ready? Is anybody ready? Come on, somebody raise their hand and show me I am ready to receive the primary goal. Because you see, what I'm looking for to happen, it don't matter if there's 100 of us, 1,000 of us, or just 10 of us gathered together. Because I know the book says when 2 or more are gathered, that it is absolutely possible for anything to occur. Now, I'm just paraphrasing, because remember I told you, it ain't Sunday. So I promised, since it's Sunday for y'all, I ain't gonna cuss, and then I'm gonna give you a little bit of scripture, but you know me, I'm consistent. But here's the deal. If you want to make sure you understand the primary goal for the rich and famous, it is one very simple word. Make it your primary word every moment, every day, every minute of the day, every waking moment before you go to bed. And the word, ladies and gentlemen, the word is freedom. Oops, freedom. It's what men died for all around the world. Freedom. But yes, in some parts of the world, we take it for granted. Why? Why? Uh-oh, he's getting controversial now. He's not going to get political, but he's going to get controversial. Why do some people around the world take it for granted? And it's because, let me put my smile on. It's because they're comfortable. You see, it's your comfort that's keeping you from your freedom. Whew. You see, if you were uncomfortable, if you were living in a one-room house, or if you were living on the street, your quest would not be for comfort. Your quest would be for freedom. And I can tell you something, freedom can be described by so many people in so many different ways, in so many different languages, totally, totally differently. But it's what people will die for. So the question I ask you is, what's your mindset? Where is your mindset? And when you have your mindset, how do you use your mindset to develop your business and promote your business? Are you speaking solely of here's a product, here's a company, here's a project, here's an opportunity, or are you talking about here's where we can be? I remember as I was riding up the ladder to become a multimillionaire, and before I go too far off, I want to make sure that I stay on track here. I remember standing in front of a small group and talking about the fact that I had a vision, and it had to do with Dubai. Now, I still haven't gotten there, and probably haven't gotten there because my vision has not yet been fully realized. But I had this vision. I had this vision of being in Dubai and having this conference, and the conference was just for my group, just for me and my business group, okay? Me and my network marketing group, right? And my vision was standing on the balcony of maybe the 80th or the 90th floor of one of the buildings. You know, there's some tall buildings. If you haven't, let's just go ahead. You can Google Dubai and look for Jumeirah, which is one of the tallest buildings in the world, but it's over there in Dubai. But I saw myself standing on the balcony watching each of my team leaders arrive on their G3s, G5s, their Gulfstreams, their Learjets, etc. You see, I had that vision because, you see, unlike the economy or the comfort package, in order to come to Dubai, you got to be thinking of coming in big papa style. Okay, let me translate that for those who may not understand a little bit of Biggie in the house here, but it's got to be big, I'm sorry. I was going to say, I'm still stuck on Biggie. Big baller, shot caller. Okay, let me translate for those who may not understand it. You got to be financially adequately prepared. How's that? Big baller. Okay. Somebody with me on that. Okay. I think Elaine's with me. Okay. But see, the thing I'm trying to tell you, oh, good. Yes, I like that word, ginormous. I see it very clearly, ginormous. But you see, freedom can be written by anybody. But it's interesting because while we were sitting in the lobby of this particular five-star hotel here in Hanoi, the capital of Vietnam, speaking with this gentleman who's lived for 40 years in Dubai, we began talking about some instances. And I shared with him, because for those of you who may or may not know, I'm a golfer. I love golf. And this is the Masters week. Obviously, it's Sunday, the final of the Masters. I will tune in momentarily. I wasn't thinking golf. I was thinking preparing for you guys this morning. So when I arose a few hours ago, I was not reading about the Masters and who was the leaderboard, or who took the final green jacket. I wasn't watching that. I wasn't looking for that. I was preparing my mind for what I wanted to share with you guys this morning. But while we were sitting yesterday, I was sharing with him that, a vision of last year. It was a year ago. Okay, stay with me, guys. Stay with me. All right, stay with me. I think I want to go to the gallery again. It was a year ago yesterday, and I was sitting in Augusta, having just come off the golf course where I was a guest at the Masters. And for those of you who don't know, I don't have any of my Masters gear, but when you put on I think Danella would understand this, but when you put on a garment or an item, or you display an item that has the Masters logo, it tells the world that you were one of the chosen few that got a chance to go there, because you can't get it anywhere but inside Augusta National during the Masters week. That's what I'm trying to say. And let me just let y'all know, in case y'all don't know, Asia, and I'm not trying to be rude, I'm just trying to let y'all know, is Asia is the king of the regions for knockoffs. And one thing I've never seen over here, let me just, come on, Danella, stop laughing with me, but I'm glad to see I got your attention. But one thing I've never seen, I've seen Adidas knockoffs, I've seen Gucci knockoffs, I've seen Chanel knockoffs, I've seen knockoffs. They got different levels, just like we got the social levels of very poor and middle class and rich and very rich. They got knockoffs for each category. They got they have what they call the fake and the super fake. They've got the ultra fake. They got the fake that you can't tell is fake, because you got so many levels and each one has a different price. But what I'm trying to tell you, one thing I've never seen here in Asia is a knockoff Masters. Ain't gonna see one, ain't gonna be one. I've never seen it. You don't see anybody. Well, I've seen the New York Yankees hat logo. Okay, I've seen Moschino. Am I saying it right? Maybe I need to unmute somebody. Moschino? Is it Moschino? Y'all know what I'm talking about. Y'all know that. Do y'all know that brand? Hello? Do y'all know that brand? Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Oh, Google. But I was standing in front of the Moschino store, and I think I still have the picture. I was standing in front of the store, looking in the window and saying, ooh, looky at all that nice stuff. And then I went down to the market, and I saw the same stuff, but spelled slightly differently. Okay? Why when I see Nike, the swoosh is backwards? Swoosh only goes one way. You understand what I'm saying? But anyway, so I'm at the Masters. I almost lost my train of thought. I wonder who would have kept me on track if I'd have lost my train of thought. But I'm at the Masters last year, and I'm talking to this guy about what I saw. I sat in what I call was a paradigm. How do I say it? It was more of an oxymoron, paradigm shifting experiences. Okay, does that makes any sense to you? Because I was sitting right outside the private airstrip. I guess I'm calling it a private airstrip because it looked like a private airstrip, but it probably was the Augusta airport. But I'd never been. I'd never flown to Augusta. It's a 2-hour drive. But this small little rinky airport on this particular day had more private jets than ever on Sunday of the Masters. Anybody with me? Okay, so I pulled out of my parking spot, which I had to catch a shuttle to then get me from the Masters parking lot over to where my car was parked. And I jump into my car and I say, well, before I hit the road, let me get some gas. And as I pull up, I'm standing in the gas station, and somebody will get the point of this in a moment. But I'm standing in the gas station and I'm watching people pull up with their cars. Some of you, depending on what part of the world you live in, might even refer to some of these vehicles as hoopties. In translation, they broke down average car. They're not comfortable cars, okay? But I observed something while I was standing there filling my car up with gas for the ride home, and I'm seeing people roll up, and before I can even fill up, they gone again. And when I look over, they put $4. Excuse me, I had to say this because I'm feeling like I'm back in Georgia, Kim. I'm feeling like I'm back in Georgia. They put $4 in their tank. $4, okay? They put $4 gas in their tank and they gone. You understand what I'm saying? Anybody understand what I'm saying? But wait. But I pull out of the gas station where I've noticed a handful of people put 4, 5, 6, I mean some small amounts of gas just to get them where they got to go. And they get to going. And then I pull out and park right on the outside of the fence of the airport. And all I observed was every 2 minutes, another jet. Every 2 minutes, a Gulfstream. Every 2 minutes, a Learjet. Every 2 minutes. Oh my God. If you can just imagine what that's like. If you ain't never seen that, go do that. Go sit somewhere where there's a private airport. And I'm talking about the airport where when you get there, they don't pat you down, okay? They don't ask you to strip search, and they don't ask you to bend over and touch your toes, and they don't ask you to they don't ask you nothing. They just ask you, would you like champagne with that? Or would you would you like champagne, or would you like the mimosa? It's that kind of airport I'm talking about. But while I'm sitting on this side of the street, I see people putting $4 gas in their hoopties, and on that side of the street, I see people that are taking off in their Gulfstreams. And if you don't know what a Gulfstream is, Google it. GULFSTREAM. No, I don't have one, but I plan to get one when I grow up. You know, I was listening to Bishop Ivy Hilliard, and he was talking about when he got his first jet. Then I was listening on my walk. You know, I take my daily morning walk, and I was listening to Creflo Dollar, and he was talking about when he got his first jet, and then he was parking his jet, and then the Lord spoke to him and told him to buy the jet that was parked next to him, not for himself, but for that other fellow who was in his ministry. He wasn't buying the jet for himself. So what was so funny, because ladies and gentlemen, we're talking about the mindset here, are we not? Come on, somebody stay with me. I'm just getting too excited here tonight. But when Creflo Dollar said that he went to the owner and said, will you sell me that jet? The man said, no, I got an offer on that jet. He said, well, if the offer don't come through, I want it. He said, well, it ain't gonna happen because I've done many deals with the man who's placed the offer on that jet, and he always comes through. But by the next morning, he's getting a call from the owner of the aircraft saying, you must have been praying pretty hard, Pastor Dollar, because for some strange reason that man has pulled out, and the jet is yours if you want it. He said, I just need to know from you, Pastor Dollar, when would you like to close on your new jet? He said, close? What you mean close? He said, yes. When would you Come on, Danella, help me through this, because you know a little something about this right here. When would you like to close on your new jet? And he said, close? He said, I don't need to close. I got a checkbook right here. And when I write the check will clear, and you will have your money, and I'll have my jet. Does anyone know what I'm talking about? A mindset. Oh, I don't know. Somebody looking at me screw-eyed all of a sudden. Wait a second. Maybe all of a sudden they say the boy done went over to Asia and lost his mind. Yes, he done lost his mind. You know why he done lost his mind? Because I see each one of those 5 very distinct categories. Yes, I do see them. I see the ultra poor. I see the poor. I see the middle class, which is almost non-existent soon to be. But yet I ride around while people are on buggies, and while people are on motorcycles and on mopeds, and I see some of the nicest of Bentleys and Rolls Royces, and I'm saying, all in one little place? Yes, mindset in a communist country. That means if it can happen in a communist country like this, it can happen in a free country like the United States of America. Somebody, if you just can't say amen, say ouch, because it's Sunday, and I'm just going to let you know. But the difference is the mindset. If all you're thinking about is survival, then that's all you're going to do is survive. If all you're thinking about is comfort, then that's all you're going to do is be comfortable. But if you're thinking about freedom, you will fight. You will go through every aspect of whatever it takes in order to get there. But let me go back to what I was trying to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, because you see, at the end of the day, when you are in the visionary perspective as a person striving for freedom, you don't have to go ahead and sell. I told a brother, let me tell you, this guy, I'm just telling you, I'm giving counsel to a friend of mine. We having a Zoom conversation, one-on-one, me and him. And I told him something. He says, man, I loved it so much, I went ahead and used it on my conference call. He said, but I couldn't tell them that it came from you because I don't want rumors. You know how this industry is full of rumors. He's the leader, top leader of a major company making multiple six figures a month after just 6 months. And he's telling me, he says, man, I used your concept on my call. So I'm saying to myself, praise the Lord, that if nothing else, I could tell somebody something and they can use it to accelerate and even enhance and elevate their own financial position. But here's what I told them. I said, very often the neophyte, the beginner, the newcomer to the industry spends so much time trying to understand all the little details, all the little nuances, the little nitty gritty, the finer things. But let me tell you what it says here. Now hold that thought for me, because somebody's going to need to hold that thought, because I'm going to get lost here in a second. What it said here is millionaires think long-term while middle class think short-term. It says create a clear vision of life, the life, the life, a life, the life you desire. How about a life that you deserve? How about the life that you deserve? How about the mandate that you will now go see what Moschino is and understand that you ain't gonna see it everywhere? And understand that you may need to understand what a Bentley looks like, and that instead of seeing your Toyota outside, and I ain't knocking Toyota, I've had one or two in my life, but instead of being comfortable with your Toyota, maybe you're striving for a Mercedes-Benz. I remember when the previous company enabled us to acquire black Mercedes-Benzes. I ain't never had a Mercedes-Benz like that before. That right there was my first one. But it was something outside of my comfort zone, because I had, interesting. So I can put down, what was I driving before? I can't remember. Oh, I was driving an Acura. Infinity. I was driving an Infinity. I was driving an Infinity FX35, and I was, can I say it? Can I say it? Can I say it? Can I say it? I was comfortable. Ah! Yeah, baby. I was comfortable in my Infinity FX35. But I really wasn't comfortable, because financially I was uptight. I was so uptight that there were times where I was missing payments and I was hiding that FX35, okay? I was parking it somewhere else so that you know who couldn't, you know who, bill collectors at my door. I was so comfortable that I was hiding my... But all of a sudden, I had the opportunity to now go elevate my thought process. Now I'm looking at a black Mercedes-Benz and I'm saying, oh yeah, S550. All of a sudden, done changed my perspective. But you see, the millionaire is not thinking about survival. He's thinking about freedom. He's thinking about more than comfort. The rich and the very rich know the truth. They understand it. So what is the purpose? You are not thinking day to day like the very poor. The very poor is thinking day to day. The poor is thinking week to week. The middle class is thinking month to month. The rich is thinking year to year. And the very rich is thinking decade to decade. Listen to me, ladies and gentlemen. I'm sorry I'm so excited today. But as I see what I see in my children, I had this predetermined decades ago. I've been raising children for 27 years. It was ordered a long time ago that my children would not walk in the same impoverished state as myself. Just listen, if all your face is going to look like that, I'm going to have to go back to just looking at me. Hold on a second. Here I go. I'm just going to look at me, because if you can't show me some love, if you can't show me a smile, because all of a sudden maybe you resemble that remark, I got to go and just look at me, because when I look at me, I see what I see. I see the vision of what's coming next. I see the view of what's on the horizon, because every round goes higher. No, that's not from the gospel selection, Climbing Jacob's Ladder, but I do know the song, We Are Climbing Jacob's Ladder. Every round goes higher, higher. I do know it, but that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about a mindset. You see, I tell you very often that I'll see you at the top because the bottom is way too crowded. Those at the bottom are thinking day to day. They can't think about a year from now. They can't think about a decade from now. I've been thinking about decades. I've been thinking about Nicole walking across the stage of her graduating class in the top 2%. I've been thinking of Nicole being one of the 5,000 that applied. I didn't have the statistics. Please, let me be very clear. Please, let me be very clear. I did not have it statistically enumerated. I didn't know that when it was all said and done, that Nicole J. Hartley, my youngest of 4 daughters, or as they say over here in this this part of the world, Toy Kongai, the youngest of my, Toy Bon Kongai. I didn't predetermine that of the last of my 4 daughters, that she would be one of the 5,000 accepted to a prestigious university, one of which is that holds a 100% graduate and law school acceptance rate for all of their graduating students. I didn't know she would be one of the 5,000, but I knew she'd be somewhere great. Does anyone see where I'm going? Hello, if it sounds like I'm bragging on my daughter, go ahead, I'm bragging on my daughter. But my humility allows me to brag on my daughter while I brag on myself, you see, because I set the mindset, as I said earlier, it was the millionaire mindset that I established in her since she was a child. I'm talking about a mere little tiny tot. And I didn't know that she would be one of the 750 accepted out of the 5,000. The statistics were not available to me. Do you follow where I'm saying? Somebody with me. Just throw your hand up if you understand. But I knew it was going to happen. And I didn't know that she was going to be one of the 75 that would receive a full scholarship for $60,000 each and every year. I didn't know that. But I knew something great was going to happen because I established it in my mind. Because what did we say? Every round goes higher. Yes, of course, Gabrielle had a great start. And of course, Olivia took it to the next level. And of course, then Lizzie took it even higher. And then, of course, Nicole came in. You know what they say? You know, if you got a man on first, second, and third, and you got one up to bat, okay, all you need is that last one coming in and knocking out the park for you to be the home run. You see, ladies and gentlemen, you don't have to come and ask me whether I am capable of leading and or directing. Look at the fruits of my labor. Forget about those who I've trained in network marketing. Let's not talk about them. Just look at the fruit, my offspring, and see what we've created inside the household. Because very often, and now, man, I'm going to sound like I'm preaching right now. Wait. Can somebody say, oh, I'm sorry. Almost went there. But what I'm going to tell you is very often we can imitate what it is we're talking about on the outside for the face and for the facade and for the fascia of what people so-called want to see, that mindset we create for them others on the outside. But it's what really happens inside the house. It's what really happens when it's behind closed doors for just you and yourself. Me, myself, and I. Them 3 are the ones that I have to argue with every single day when I feel like giving up. And don't you ever think that I don't feel like giving up sometimes. When I feel like throwing in the towel and saying, I don't need this because I got, like my boy Creflo Dollar says, I don't need another jet. I already got a jet. I don't need to come and look at your Rolls Royce. I already got a Rolls. I don't need no diamonds. I already got some diamonds. What I need you to embrace what it is I'm talking about. Now, usually at about this particular point in time, when the church gets so quiet, the preacher will either pass the collection plate or he'll open up the doors of the church and he'll embrace those who are converted. But you see, this ain't where we are, okay? I don't need the doors of the church open. Look at me, sweating. Can y'all see me? Let me zoom in on me. Look at me. 8:57 in the morning. Look at me sweating. Look at that. Look at that. I'm sweating for your freedom. Sweating for your freedom. Somebody chose not to get on this call because I don't know what they got to say, what he got to say. Oh, I ain't got nothing to say. I ain't never been nowhere. I ain't never done nothing. Let me tell you something. Take the little bit of the little bit of the little bit that you get tonight. Embrace it. Embark upon it. Because I'm staying right here. The mindset, ladies and gentlemen, what I told a good brother, good friend of mine, I said, do not let the mindset of others, you see, because others will force you to get into the minutia, the low end nitty gritty nuts and bolts that don't even matter. You busy spending time worrying about what this one says and what that one says and what the other's saying and what this one is thinking and what they think about you. Guess what, my friend? What they think about you is none of your business. Come on, Elaine. I know you're here, not dead, but tell me something. You've been quiet for too long over there, Elaine. Somebody, I need somebody to let me know. It don't matter what the person in the box next to you. Point to the person in the box next to you. Just do like this. Point to the person in the box next to you and say, what you think about me is none of my business because I'm elevating. The man told me today that I can elevate, that the purpose of me is no longer just to be comfortable, that I can now go to a whole nother level and find freedom. I'm not going to tell you what that freedom is. Freedom could be where you get to jump on a plane just because somebody calls you and says, come to Dubai tomorrow. And you jump on that plane and next thing you know, you landing on that airstrip in a Gulf Stream or a Learjet because you can. It's all about a mindset. I still say it. And I notice ain't nobody refuted it. Nobody refuted me when I said I was the one who started with the poorest beginning. One room, house, 4 of us in one bed. Me, my sister, my mama, my daddy sleeping under one blanket. But baby, let me let y'all know, and I was going to do this before, but you see how I get distracted. I get excited and I get distracted. How many know I get excited and I get distracted? But what I'm going to share with you in this moment, I'm going to share some with y'all. I can't minimize. I just hate to. Let me see if I can do this. Hold on. Don't move, y'all. Don't move, y'all. Don't move. Don't move. Don't move. Because I'm going to share this as we get up out of here. There is no way. There is no way that when I was that child in that one-room house that I was ever thinking about this. Somebody going to tell me what they think. There was no way that I was going to be sitting there thinking about that S550 parked in front of that white clay house or whatever they call it, See, I don't even know. I just bought it. I didn't even know what the heck it was. I liked it. Saw a picture. Matter of fact, I bought it on the spot. I did a Creflo Dollar. I was in Trinidad. My assistant went and looked at it. She walked through it on what they call it, on FaceTime, showed me, said it's available. I said, take it. Okay. But see, all right, let me just see. I'm gonna stop sharing because I may have just offended somebody right here. I may have just offended somebody. You see, when I was living in that, Danella, you ain't gonna comment. You was there. How many times you sat in that house, Danella? See, somebody may think I had just gone ahead and borrowed somebody's house. Somebody may think that I was driving by and then decided, let me pull my car over when the neighbors ain't there. And let me see if I can do this photo shoot before Atlanta PD pull up on me and say, sir, you got to go. You don't belong in this neighborhood. You know, your kind don't belong over here. I'm sorry, I got my little, Southern, I'm about to say that word, reckon or fitting to. But I ain't gonna leave you without showing you the other image. Hold on, I got one more image. Got to get rid of that one. Hold on. I'm just trying to get rid of that one image right there. Let me get rid of that one and bring up, sorry, please be patient with a brother. because I want you to understand it's the mindset. Now, I can tell you one thing, and Danella, let me just put you out on Front Street, because you just did what I've been talking about. You just did it less than a month ago. Don't need no stinking closing. I need my dream house. I want it now. What do you take? Which form of payment you take? Cash, check, Bitcoin, OneCoin, what you take? What kind of currency? How you take your payment? Oh, how they say? Chinese financing, one lump sum. One lump sum. But let me close out with this last image, because, ladies and gentlemen, you better hope and pray that you can one day start to envision where you belong. And I'm going to tell you what my vision was, and it never came to pass, but who cares? My vision was very clear. When you see this image, thank you, Kim. I appreciate you sharing with everybody that you was there. Where I don't even see the chat box anymore. I appreciate you sharing the image. This is the aerial view of that house that I chose. See over there, them tennis courts, because Nicole, my youngest daughter, I remember before I started with the company that allowed me to move into that house, I lived in a housing complex, and our job when she was with me on weekends was to come to the house, and we would start our mornings with plyometrics and exercises. Then we'd go to the tennis court and we would hit tennis balls, for an hour on a regular basis. You see, but this half of the house over here, and I just need y'all might not be able to see it. Maybe you can see my cursor, but this part of the house here, this was mine over here. And this part of the house was anybody else who wanted to come and visit. Okay. Parties is what I planned here. Kids, invite all your friends. Let's throw parties. You see, it's a far cry. It's a far cry. Stucco. Thank you, Danella. See, you could be rich and ignorant. You could be ignorant and rich. What I always say, I is rich. Better to say I is rich than I am poor. Thank you, Danella. But ladies and gentlemen, I paint that picture because we have got to stop thinking that just because we want to go peddle a product, because you ain't no salesperson. In order to get to the highest levels in this world of network marketing, in this world of multi-level marketing, you've got to learn how to paint a picture. I know some of you right now, are thinking back, as I was describing, standing on the 80th floor, the 90th floor of Jumeirah, standing there watching the Gulf Streams, each of those Lear jets, and knowing that each one coming in every 3 minutes was another one of my leaders, because that's what I had in my vision for them. And yes, many of them have become multimillionaires. I'm so thankful for that. Maybe we'll do a reunion tour or something like that. I don't know. Maybe I don't know. But you see, until you begin to have the vision in your mind and then paint the vision, have the clear vision in your mind. There's a scripture, and y'all know it. Write the vision. I'm surprised, Pastor Kendall, you didn't put that scripture in there as I was talking about vision. Write the vision, make it plain, that they will what? Run and not faint, right? Okay. Mount up on what? They want you to soar, because you see, you can't get to the top until you choose to soar. My mentor always talked about being an eagle versus being a chicken. A chicken walks around down on the ground. That chicken don't soar. Eagles soar. Mount up, ladies and gentlemen, on wings. Why not? It's okay. Don't talk yourself and don't make excuses for yourself. See, I ain't gonna apologize to anybody. Look at him showing that big old house. I can't tell if it was 10,000 or 11,000 square feet. You ain't supposed to. I just wonder how much it must have cost just to just to heat that big old place. You ain't supposed to. If you gotta ask, you ain't supposed to. Kimmy, I know you're gonna send me a text. Don't be so mean. I'm not being mean. I'm just being true. This my Jiminy Cricket right here. It's my voice of reason. Don't you, Edward? You be nice now. Edward, you be nice. Edward, you be nice now. Don't pick on everybody. But you better be ready, ladies and gentlemen. Be ready, because that is how you will ascend. I already said it. There's nobody on this call. The 5 social categories, yes, very poor. Nobody here in that category. The poor, nobody here. But the middle class, don't let your comfort get you stuck in the middle class. Allow your pursuit of freedom to take you to the level of being rich. And if you so desire to become the elite and the very rich, you will focus and hone in on your very specific goals for freedom. Well, that's all she wrote, ladies and gentlemen. I'm out of here. It's time for me to go get some breakfast, go get to my meeting. I got a meeting in about an hour, and hadn't even checked my messages to see who's trying to reach me. But I don't know about you, but it's been real. Glad some of y'all took time out tonight, your night, my morning, to come and join me, be with me. It's good to see some of your faces. Those of you who hid your faces, didn't have your hair did, next time, go get you a Gucci hat. Go get you a Moschino hat. Go get you a Ferrari hat. Go get you a Rolls Royce hat. If your hair not did, no problemo. If your eyes ain't right, you don't want to show your eyes because you was drinking too much at the family barbecue, no problemo. Make sure when you make a statement, you'll make the right statement. Proud of this, y'all. Love y'all. God bless. I'll see y'all. I'm out. Peace.